This podcast is produced by the Harwood Productions Podcast Network. To learn more about the network and to find more of our shows, visit us online at www.harwoodpodcast.com.
All right, so we are here at the Data Robotics booth, and they make the Drobo. As long as you've expanded the line quite a bit, you've got the Drobo Pro, Drobo Elite, Drobo S. Tell people who don't know, what exactly is a Drobo?
So Drobo is a hard drive solution, external hard drive solution that takes all the complications out of typical RAID solutions. What we do is we virtualize how we do this RAID. So we call it beyond RAID. So it's based on the ideas of RAID, but doesn't have any of the complications. Essentially, you take drives, you throw them in, it does all the magic for you. But drive fails, a light lights up, you replace the drive, you're done.
It's very simple because like a usual RAID, you have to make sure that all the hard drives are the same size, even same brand sometimes, a lot of configuration. It's literally just put the hard drives in and you're done, right?
Yeah, that's totally correct. The cool thing with us as well is you can set your Drobo up to be 16 terabytes, right? So the Mac thinks it's 16 terabytes, has no idea that it's anything else. But you can start out with just two 1 terabyte drives. And then as you need more space, the lights will grow and the capacity meter saying how much you have. You hit a critical part, it'll light up another drive bay, say add a drive here. All you do is just slide a drive in and then magically you have more space.
That's fantastic. And of course, see, if you put like, say, 3 1 terabyte drives in it, you don't get 3 terabytes of space. It uses part of that as redundancy, but it's not just a 50-50 split. It uses way more just for actual storage, way less for redundancy.
Yeah, exactly. So what we do is, so you mentioned how we can have different size drives, right? So we're smart enough to be able to chop the drives up in different parts and say, oh, with this we can do a stripe, with this we can do a mirror. And we figure that out, and it changes dynamically as you add different drive sizes. So yeah, you get the most efficient layout depending on what size drives and how many drives you have, and we just figure that all out automatically without you having to think about it. So some people, when they come by and they're just like, well, is this RAID 0, is this RAID 1, is this RAID 5? It's all the above, right? It doesn't matter. You just put the drives in and you don't have to worry about it.
That's really just fantastic. And you have several different models. You have the base Drobo.
Yeah, so there's the base Drobo, which is our 4-bay. So that's got USB and FireWire 800. Then we have the Drobo S, which has got USB, FireWire 800, and eSATA. And it also adds dual disk redundancy. So with the original Drobo, you're protected against one drive failing. And it's pretty unlikely that you'll have 2 fail, but it's possible, right? So if you turn dual disk on, then you can protect if one fails and you're in the middle of a rebuild and another one fails, you're still safe. And the cool thing about our dual disk is that you can turn that on or off at any time. It's not like you start out and say, oh, do I want to do this or do I not want to do this? You can start out, you can put data on and say, yeah, I really want to turn this on. You turn it on, you copy a ton of data, and then later you say, you know what, I really don't need this. You check it off and all that space comes back.
And dual disk does take up more space because it needs more redundancy.
Yeah, exactly. So the way to think about it is if you have 5 1 terabyte drives, you're going to more or less lose one of those drives for single disk protection, right? If you turn on dual disk, then you're going to lose the second one. So it's kind of 2 of the drives, and if you think about it in your head, are the ones that are for protection. Really, the data's kind of all across all the drives, but just as far as thinking about it in your head, that's how it works.
And any one of those drives can fail.
Yeah, it's totally true. Yeah, drives can fail at any time. A lot of people, they know about RAID, they've heard it, they've tried it before. Some people know they should do it, they don't know really how to do it, right? The people that know how to do it don't really want to do it because it's such a pain. And for both those types of people, we solve it, right? You throw the drives in, you're all set.
And one of the great things about this is that it's basically backup built in. You don't have to have another drive elsewhere that's backing all this stuff up. If something fails, it doesn't matter. The case will actually take care of it for you.
Yeah, exactly. That's the great thing. As I said before, when you set it up, you could set up with those 2 1 terabyte drives, but say it's 16. The cool thing is all that magic is happening inside the Drobo, excuse me. Once it goes out over USB or FireWire or eSATA or iSCSI, it's just another drive to the Mac or the PC. It doesn't know that there's all this magic happening behind the scenes. So when a drive fails, it's all happening here. You still have access to all your data because the computer has no idea that something's going on there, right? It's doing all it needs to do to fix it. but it still has access because it's just a FireWire drive or it's just a USB drive as far as the computer is concerned.
Right, and you do have software. You have the Drobo dashboard that'll tell you how your bit data is being used. It'll alert you if something goes wrong, but you don't need that, right? You can plug it into any computer without any software.
Yeah, you don't need that. What our software allows you to do is allows you to adjust that size. So I said the max is 16, but you can go anywhere from 1 terabyte to 2 to 4 to 8 to 16. So it allows you to change that. It allows you to change settings like that dual disk redundancy. If you were to use one of our high-end products, so, the Drobo Pro or the Drobo Elite that has iSCSI, we actually include our own iSCSI driver for the Mac because there isn't one by default. So it actually comes with that. So that bit of software, if you want to use that connection, you'd want to install a dashboard for that. But we include that for free as part of the product. A lot of other iSCSI solutions, you have to go buy a third-party software to make that work.
Right. That's fantastic. And where can people go to find out more about the Drobo?
Yeah, you can go to drobo.com to find out more and read about it. And there's a cool thing I think that a lot of people are trying to figure out how our technology works and how the drive space is used, is you can check out the capacity calculator, and it lets you pull different size drives in and see how it's used for overhead and protection, and you can kind of just get a sense of how it all fits together.
That's fascinating, just to play with, drop in different drives, see how it uses it. That's fantastic. Well, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.